Buongiorno everyone. How are you doing today? Is anybody here? Yes, I see the first people coming in. Awesome. Okay. I'm Alessandro Boga, the Italian wine specialist at Wilson Daniels, and today I'm taking you to Piedmont, in the region of Langhe, specifically the Barolo area. And in a few seconds, I'm going to connect with Valter Fissore, owner and winemaker of Cogno Winery. Valter is the son-in-law of Elvio Cogno, who founded the winery in 1990 in Novello, one of the 11 communes of the Barolo DOCG. And today Cogno is considered the leader in the production of Ravera, which is the main Barolo cru in Novello. While I speak to Valter, feel free to type your questions as usual. And let me connect to Valter right now. Well, looks like it's not connected. Oh, here we go. Yes. Ciao Valter.
Hey, ciao Alessandro. How are
Come
you?
stai? How are
Bene.
you?
Fine, thanks.
You're in the Cascina now, right?
Yeah, on the balcony. I can see the beautiful place in front of me.
Nice. I'm jealous. Yeah, even though the weather today is not that great, right?
No, it's a little bit cloudy. This morning is a rainy day, but today in the afternoon is much better, but it's not sunny day.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's not a great day even in New York, but it's not
You
been
can
a great day as well in recently. So that's a much better landscape. I love your face. I like you, but that's a beautiful landscape to see.
I know. It's much better, absolutely.
Okay, so I
Thank you
saw
very
that.
much for this invitation, this Instagram live. I'm very happy to be part of this live, and I try to explain a little bit our winery, our philosophy, and I am available of all your questions.
Awesome. Well, it's great for us to get out of our home and think of dreaming of being in Italy now in a vineyard. So it's good to see what's going on in the vineyard, and we're looking forward to see what's going on in your winery. But we saw that there's been some pretty brand news about Piemonte being pretty hit by the virus lately, along with Lombardy is probably the two main areas where they got hit. How's Langhe in particular?
Well, here in Langhe, we live this time in with a lot of sadly moment, because we heard about a lot of problems around the world, and in Italy was a lot of people that pass away, and but in the Langhe, honestly, we didn't have too much infection. Is mostly in the big town as Turin, as Alexandria, Novara, in the north of Piedmont, is more than here. Of course, also we have some infection here, but not so much like in other place. And we continue to work in the vineyards in this time, and we are not complain too much, because we live in a beautiful place, and we are not close in a room or in an apartment, so we can enjoy this beautiful panorama that you can imagine we have.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so let's start to talk a little bit about the history of the winery. So you're the son-in-law of Elvio Cogno, that founded the winery in 1990. But
yeah, talking about the experience that we are doing here in Novello since 1990, but the history of Elvio Cogno is more older, because my father-in-law founded in 1961 another very important winery in La Morra. So in 1961, he founded Marcarini Winery, And so our experience is come through La Morra and Novello. And was really important for us because we bring back a great experience already there. And we move in Novello because the partnership with Marcarini in 1990 was stopped, and we bought this. My father-in-law bought this beautiful property in Novello, and it was a very challenge for us to move here from because we vinified the beautiful cru as Brunate and La Serra in La Morra, and then we moved to Ravera. That at that time nobody talking about this cru, but Elvio born in Novello and know very well the potential of this place, and he knows perfectly what we can get from these vineyards. And in fact, for us was we were very sure of the result that we can get here. And my father-in-law don't make a pass like this, a step like this, just to make wine again. You know, we are sure that we are a great history, and we want to continue to make great wines. So you don't buy in a normal place our vineyards. We don't bought this property just for spend money, you know, but we are sure of the result.
No, of course. And you were definitely the first producer that had the vision of making great wines also from the specific commune of the Barolo area in Novello. At the time when you moved, when you started making wine in the area, there was really nobody was trying to make terroir-driven Barolo from the area, correct?
Right. This was a challenge. He knows perfectly the place. He knows perfectly the soil, and the result that we can get. But it was a challenge because we came in Novello. Novello in the Barolo area was not one of the most important commune of the Langhe, of the Barolo area. But for this reason, we don't care too much about that. Of course, our effort was double that that normal effort we can do in other place.
Yeah, of course. But so tell us more a little bit about this part of the Barolo, and specifically the cru where you're at, Ravera.
Yeah, we are in the top of the hill. You can see all vineyards are located around the farm. We have 13 hectares, all located in one piece of land. That helps to us to work much better and much easier to follow the cultivation of the vines here. And all vineyards of the Barolo Ravera are in front of the house of the farm in the south exposure. You can see here in front of you is Ravera oldest vineyards, 50 years old. And in front of you can see the horizon. You can see the Alps, Maritime Alps, where the climate influence a lot our cru. Because the Maritime Alps, the air of the sea comes from there, and we have a great excursion of temperature through night and day. The altitude also influence a lot this cru, because we are around 400 meters, and you can see in front of you the Tanaro Valley river. So the cold wind is come from there, and we have a great excursion through night and day that get a perfect phenolic maturation during the season.
What about the soil?
The soil is limestone. We don't have too much sand, and the influence of the soil and the microclimate get wines with a great personality, with a great freshness, wines that show beautiful energy, and also quenching thirsty wines that a touch of minerality, a good acidity, because the wines initially show a little bit tannins quite good tannish, but in the aftertaste also the tannish get a touch of another source of the wine. You want to taste again, retaste. That is my important goal for me. Here is the soil is here is in the confluence of the two geological era, Tortonian elevation. So here we take mostly characteristic of the elevation because our wines sometimes show more character near to the Castiglione Falletto and Monforte. A little bit more robust than Verduno, for example. But also wines with great freshness and wines that can age really well.
And still perfume wines.
Sorry?
And still very perfumed wines.
Yeah. Yes.
I see. Okay. So tell us about specifically what kind of clones of Nebbiolo you use then.
Yes, our project that starts since 1990 was to vinify all the 3 clones of Nebbiolo. Elvio Cogno want to plant also rosé, and so in 1991 we planted 1 vineyard, 100% rosé clone. That is the vineyard that I show you now. These vineyards. That is Vigna Elena, that we produce 100% with this clone, and we get a Riserva, and we age 6 years. And the production is quite limited, just 5,000 bottles every year. And then we worked with other clones, with the Ravera. Ravera is Lampia, 60% and 40% Miquet. Very old vineyards, 70 years old and 50 years old.
So tell us what are the main differences between Lampia and Miquet, which are the 2 most
Lampia is
used.
Okay, Lampia is in terms of technical terms is R1 is the number of the clone, and the Miquet is R3. Okay. And Lampia is the most popular clone that we find in the Langhe, because this clone of Nebbiolo is probably is more balanced clone. We get wine with more balance, not too much tannic, not too much elegant, quite robust, but wines that get a good production too. Miquet is in terms of technical result is a Lampia with virus, you know. This is a right time to talk about virus. But is a Lampia virosato. Miquet is a Lampia virosato with virus. So the difference is the bunch is much smaller. Miquet means the shape of a small piece of bread. Is mica in Piemonte's language. Is because the bunch is quite small. The skin is quite thick, and the skin is quite thick, and these wines has a lot of tannins. This grape has a lot of tannins and good colors. For me, it's too problematic to produce 100% Nebbiolo Miquet. Understand? So it's much better to blend with Lampia for get more harmony in the wine.
Right.
And then we have Cascina Nuova, that is the new vineyards with the new clones, hybrid clones, where you have a selection massal of the different clones. So we are working a little bit in more still Burgundish way, because we are producing 4 Barolo that come from the different vineyards, so different plots. So you can show the difference from the soil, but also the exposure, the clones. So it's always Ravera, but different wines.
Right, but at the same time, they're still all in the Ravera crew. So it's a plot of the crew.
Yes, we have 13 hectares of Ravera. We have 8 hectares, and Vigna is rosé 100%. Rosé is different because the bunch is longer. little bit more pinky color. It's similar to Lampia, like the shape of the bunch, but it's a bit bigger bunch. And the first clone that we picked every year is the Lampia. The second year is Miquette, and the last is the Rosé. Rosé, normally we pick it for in the last time, and through the first vineyard to the last can spend 2 weeks. Is a long time during the harvest, and sometimes the weather can change, so the risk is higher.
Right. And for the people that are following us that don't know, the Barolo di UCGR is divided in 170 MEGA, menzioni geografiche aggiuntive, the concept of cru for like Burgundy, for example, plus the 11 communes of Barolo, and you are all in Ravera. So
we have all
of the
in
wines
Ravera.
are in Ravera, in the MGA.
Well,
so
we would like to buy maybe others, but it's too expensive now. You know, it's difficult.
yeah,
So,
I can
no,
imagine.
but okay. I have a dream to maybe in future, maybe I don't know. We can vinify Brunate again. This is for part of our family, our history. That is could be a great goal for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a dream, you know. I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the winemaking. So your philosophy. How do you approach the work in the vineyard and in the cellar?
Yeah, we are a very traditional producer. What means traditional? But we are using all our old winemaking style that we learn from the family, and of course we have we want to use also the technology for help to do much more traditional wines, but we are not making wines with the shorter fermentation. We are making wines with 40-50 days of maceration, and in the last years we start to produce wine don't destem the grape, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Or cluster.
all cluster, yes. There is in percentual 30-40% is all cluster in the last 2 vintages.
Mm-hmm.
2017, 18, and 19, the last 3 years. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
But the first year just a cask, a tank. Another 18 we increase, and because the result was fantastic for me, and 19 we do more. But it's important to balance the production, because 100% whole cluster is probably not the right way, but in percentual, yes.
No, for sure. And you see like which direction are the wines taking? Are the wines becoming?
Yeah, the wines are became more not so heavy like you can imagine, not more tannins. Depends how, if you have a great phenolic maturation to do that, of course, because that is, the risk is to produce a green wine. That is, I don't want to do that. But you get wines with a lot of finesse and elegance, wines with a touch of spicy character, of white pepper, black pepper notes, very complex wine, very complex. Yeah, and probably they age very well. I am quite sure.
Yeah, and of course,
then we after the fermentation we make malolactic in stainless steel. We don't make malolactic in wood. I prefer follow this vulnerable time for the wine in stainless steel, because I do this malolactic fermentation as soon as possible, because in that time the wine is very vulnerable, because we don't have any sulfites to fight the bacterium, you know, to kill the bacterium that is very dangerous for some breath notes or something like that.
Yeah, of course. And
then we rack and put in the wood, large barrel, Slavonia oak, 100%, 15 to 50 hectoliters and depends of the wine, but normally age 24 months until 36 months. Depends if Bricco Pernice is 36 months, Ravera 24 months, and Vigna Elena 36 months too, 3 years.
Okay. And you've also been practicing organic for now several years, right? Even though not certified.
Not certified, yes, but I can imagine we live in the middle of the vineyard. I want to preserve my health before then preserve the palate of the consumer. But I am in 10 years I have seen a great change of the result in the wine, making organic way. No fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, no any poison or herbicide, nothing nothing of that. Because we want to. I have seen that the vineyards became stronger to the adversity, but needs time. If you start to work in organic way, and then the result, you need time to see how the vines start to produce in balanced way, produce less quantity. We don't make a strong green harvest, and they are more balanced. Also, the wine are more balanced after, but needs a long time.
But just to give an idea to our followers, your production numbers, what are, like, in a good vintage, your production numbers?
In total of Barolo?
Yeah. Well, Barolo, and then the total production of all the other wines.
In total, we produce around 100,000 bottles in total. Yeah. And Barolo is around 40,000 bottles.
Yeah.
45,000.
And divided by 4 different Barolos. So it's
Ravera. Cascina Nuova is around 15,000 bottles. Ravera 12,000 bottles. Bricco Pernice 5,000 bottles, and Vigna Elena 4,000 bottles.
Yeah. So is there any experimentation, any project you're working on now? You said the all cluster now you've been using lately, but anything else that you've been trying to experiment in different vinifications, or still like keep doing? I know that you've been doing like the Nascetta now lately on oak fermentation, correct?
Yeah, in 19 we changed a little bit about Nascetta, because Nascetta is a long history of our winery. We consider Elvio Cogno the father of this white wine. So.
Right. So let's actually speak a little bit more about Nascetta first. So tell us the history of Nascetta and why you and Elvio decided to focus so much on the rebirth of this grape that was almost extincted in the early 90s.
Yeah. Nascetta is I want to say thanks to Elvio Cogno, to my father-in-law that introduced me introduced this wine to me, and I get the possibility to taste a whole vintage from viticulture of Novello. Nascetta born in Novello, in this village, a little bit in Monforte too, but mostly in Novello. I don't know why, but this is the history. We have manuscript already 300 years ago talking about this grape. And since when we started to taste this grape, me and Elvio say, but why we are producing Chardonnay or other variety in the Langhe when we have a wine so beautiful like here that nobody spend time behind this? And so we are starting in 1994 with 1,000 bottles, catch all grape available in the commune, one basket in one place, another basket in another vineyard. So a very great effort, great work to get 1,000 bottles. That is just, we do that just for the passion, for the love for this wine, but not for the money, you can imagine, you know. At the time, this was one table, not DOC, so needs 10 years of experimentation with the University of Turin, and Istituto Sperimentale di Asti, di Vicoltura di Asti, to get
to know the grape better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for description, the national list, the national catalog,
Right.
because initially was not scripted, so you cannot, is not allowed to cultivate. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in 2004 arrived the DOC is Lange White, but Lange, you can imagine, Lange White is a big area.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get any focus on the Novello and on this grape. So we fight many years with the bureaucracy, Italian bureaucracy, that we are we are famous for Italian bureaucracy, you know, and so we get and we get the Lange Nascetta del Comune di Novello in 2010. Okay, this is the first year that we make a good step forward.
And now do you have only 12 producers making the wine in Novello? Like
okay, there is two different DOC is Lange Nascetta.
Right. No, I'm talking about Novello, yeah.
Novello is Lange Nascetta del Comune di Novello. We have 12 producers now, and we make an association to preserve our identity.
Right, which has to be 100% Nascetta versus the
100%. Our DOC is means 100% Nascetta. Yes. And Lange we can blend with 15% of other variety. Lange Nascetta.
Right. And from my understanding, that Nascetta is the only white variety which is indigenous to Lange. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is in Lange there is Nascetta. Yeah, there is also Rossese in Monforte, but don't have many people that producer about this grape. There is Timorasso, is a Monferrato, for example. All are indigenous grapes. Yes.
Yeah, but they were not originally from Lange. They were from other parts, and then they've been moved in. They are also cultivated in Lange. Yes.
Yeah, the problem, we have a small problem that we are in the Barolo area, you know, and who estirp a vineyard of Barolo for plant Nascetta? Nobody.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
And in Monferrato is different. This is the reason that probably Timorasso became also more famous than Nascetta at the moment, because they are this grape so beautiful, and they are produce mostly of that. Don't have Nebbiolo there, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And they, with the Nebbiolo, of course, we have a more different margin in terms of sales and of reputation. But we continue to grow about Nascetta and invest, because this is a wine very, very special for me. Can age really well, and we don't have too much white wine in the Lange can age so well like Nascetta.
Right.
And in 2019 we changed a little bit the style of this wine, because we introduce aging and fermenting in large barrel in Slavogna Oak, because now we have more production, and before the production was not enough to aged and fermenting in barrel, because that means sell age 100% in wood, and I don't want that. I want to age in percentual, maybe 40% in wood.
Mm-hmm.
And also we changed a little bit the cold maceration. Now we are doing cold stabulation. It's a bit different, because cold maceration means crush the grape and make contact with the skins 12 hours at 10 degrees with the skins. But in this process, we have a little bit of reduction of acidity, because the salification of the acidity, this is a problem, because the white of the Lange don't have a great acidity like in the north of Europe, for example. And I love the white that have a lot of acidity. And for this reason, we introduced a cold stabulation what means we crush the grape, take only the juice, put in a stainless steel, and keep for 6 days, 7 days in this tank. and make batonnage of the sediment that stay in suspension in this in the juice at 5 degree only temperature. And in this process, we extraction a lot of aromas, and the acidity remain very high. You know, we don't have any precipitation of acidity in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move rack in wood and fermenting 30% in large barrel and the other part in stainless steel. And then we blend it after 6 months of lease.
Yeah. I mean, your Nascetta is beautiful because it's got that sage, almond notes, like the nuttiness that it makes a wine so different than any other like whites. It's got a lot of character. And also to your point of like ageability, I remember tasting with you some old Nascetta and they start getting those petrol notes typical of a Riesling after several years.
Yes, this is the fantastic evolution of Nascetta in the bottles. Of course, every vintage is different, but in the last vintages, 18 especially, and the 19, you see this great freshness that you have in the Nascetta now.
Mm-hmm.
And our I would say evolution, we learn a lot to making this wine, and we growing, we improved the quality, in my opinion, in the last years.
Great. So let's discuss the 2016 vintage in Barolo, which is the one we're gonna get in the market in about a couple of months, 1 month to 2 months. So tell us more about the 16, because everybody's talking about 15, which was a great vintage, though very warm. The 16 was much more cooler, and a lot of people are saying that actually it's supposed to be a better vintage than 15. What are your thoughts about that?
16 for me is a wonderful vintage. Probably one of my favorite vintages until today. I prefer 16 than 10 because 16 is a little more elegant. 10 was a little more austere wine, but both are great, of course. I consider this is a blue vintage. What means blue vintage? Because for me there is 3 different of color that identify the vintages. Is black vintage, red vintage, and blue vintage. Black vintage is for me are, for example, 2013 a vintage where you have more powerful wine with big black fruit. And vintage like I remember 2011 was a black vintage, quite warm vintage, okay? And 2009, red vintage is the cooler vintage. Like 14 for me is a red vintage, for example, a beautiful cooler vintage. But you have more freshness, small red fruit. And blue vintage is 16, 10, 2001, 1999. That is a blue vintages for me. That show small black berries, like blueberries, this character.
And in your opinion, those are the best vintages, right?
For me, yes. Yeah. Yes. The wine, but 16 is, for me, is not so far from 2001, for me. Because is a very complex wine, but great energy, freshness, but drinkability. Wines with very fine tannins, especially already now that is quite young. But wines that have the great possibility to age so well. That is the great vintages show that every time. Well, but great finesse, elegance, minerality, freshness, good acidity, but fine tannins. Okay, this is the characteristic of 16.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of the trait that you find on all your Barolos, which are is a style where it definitely has got a structure, the tannins to age, because you definitely feel the tannins. But the mix of freshness and the perfume, the bouquet, makes the wine very approachable also at release. So that's those across all your Barolos, which is not sometimes easy to find in other parts of the Barolo area.
Yeah, I like the wines that show the beautiful drinkability. I don't like the wines that are too much heavy, you know.
Right.
Full body wines are good, of course. I like it, but I love the wines that are show the elegance and the finesse of the Nebbiolo. And of course, the complexity is really important. In past, many people, when you say, your wine is elegant, they offended because they think the wine was light. No, elegant don't want to be means light. You know, want me means finesse, elegant, complexity. That is the point.
Right.
Wines that are a good time for the new way to eat too, because the pairing with the food is really important too. Because for me, the wines and the Barolo especially is a wine for food.
Right. And of course, besides Nebbiolo, you're producing also other indigenous varieties in the state. Barbera, Dolcetto.
Yeah, we produce Dolcetto d'Alba, Barbera d'Alba, two kinds of Barbera. Barbera Bricco dei Merli and Barbera Prefillossera. That is this is another unique wine that come from vineyards in La Morra in Berry. That has more than 100 years old. Is not grafted. Is Prefillossera wines. The wine is so very, very special. I produce just 15 hectoliters, 2,000 bottles every year. So it's very limited, but initially we blend with the other Barbera. Then we say, wow, we make a big mistake, because this is a good opportunity to show this wine to the consumer. How means to taste a Barbera Prefillossera. And then
fantastic.
Yeah, the wine is very, very special. Yes, I think so. But I am the part of this result. It's much better that the consumer say that.
And it's basically the only wine, along with the Moscato d'Asti and the Barolo and the Barbaresco, that you make outside of Raviera. Everything else is in Raviera.
Yeah, we have 2 hectares in Barbaresco that they rent in Bordini, in Neive, and Moscato is just a 10,000 bottle that we are working in cooperation with another winery, because we cannot produce here.
Right.
And that is for complete our portfolio, of course. That is not we are not manage the vineyards ourselves. Okay, that is we have a good friends in Calosso d'Asti that making Moscato together, and that is complete our lineup. Complete our lineup.
Sure. Okay. But what is the wine that you drink the most these days? If you have to pick a wine that you would drink on a daily basis, which wine would you pick?
During quarantine, I drink a lot of Nebbiolo, Langhe Nebbiolo, that I love. This one.
Beautiful.
Langhe Nebbiolo, Montegrilli.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is a wine that you put in a low temperature, around 12 degrees, and very elegant, making in a carbonic maceration way, only stainless steel. Unique, so I love the freshness and the fruitiness,
freshness.
Of this one. Yes. Yeah, a wine that we enjoyed with the fish, with the meat, with the pasta, whatever you want. It's very universal wine.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love that, because every day I drink 1 bottle myself.
That's fine. That's 1 bottle a day. That's perfect.
Yeah, in this quarantine I drink too much. Honestly, I increase my weight. I increase my weight too.
Valter, I give you news. Don't feel lonely about that. There's probably a lot of people around the world that are doing the same right now. So
I want to show
you're in good
you.
company.
I would like to show
Yes.
you the new tasting room. Okay.
Yes.
So when
Absolutely.
you will come in the winery, you can
Beautiful.
see. So you can see the view
So
that
you
can have.
just opened this, right?
All open, yes. Yes.
Just opened like last week.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful.
And so when you taste the wine here, you enjoy much more the wine.
Definitely, when you taste the wine with that view, you reconsider the whole approach to the wine. There's no question about that. We're losing you, Valter. Oh, okay, we lost you for a few seconds. Valter.
Sorry, the connection was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the connection was gone. I want to show you also the wine shop. New.
Sure.
I don't know. You can see.
Yep. So that's connected to the tasting room, and you have a separate entrance, right, for
yes.
the wine shop and the tasting room.
Yes. This is the barrels.
Nice.
And
I'd rather be there now
and
than
here,
Palmer in New York. It's nice.
Okay.
Well, I look forward to seeing it again in person next time I'm in the area. So
yes.
But Valter, tell us some food pairings that we could cook at home or like order at our favorite restaurants in the area that are pretty easy to find or to make. Traditional dishes.
Yes, we can start with nascetta, like aperitif or appetizer. I love nascetta to pairing with many kinds of food, but in this time I can say flowering zucchini is
okay. It's the zucchini flowers, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, is beautiful. It's beautiful in nascetta. In
Which is
tempura,
not
no?
super easy to find, but
flower,
yes.
zucchini flower in tempura is fantastic. Okay. Or tuna carpaccio is fantastic with nascetta. Okay.
Like vitello tonnato.
Vitello tonnato for the wine. The wine is not easy for me. It's not an easy dish with the wine in general.
Okay.
Probably I love vitello tonnato mostly with the bubble, with the sparkling wine. Okay.
Okay.
But I prefer, for example, carne cruda, fassone is meat tartare, for example, is beautiful. Yeah. With nascetta or tuna tartare is fantastic. Or vegetables grilled is beautiful. Okay. Then we can go to the Barbera. I love Barbera with, for example, with rich pasta. Our first course that you have a lot of eggs and made pasta. Tajarin is fantastic.
Tajarin, yeah, amazing.
When you have truffle, much more better. If you have truffle. And I love Barolo with meat, with seasoned cheese. A lot of kind of food, of course, but Barolo is I can enjoy also with the. I sometimes I tasted Barolo with fish. Can you imagine what it means? Is nobody talk about Barolo? Imagine with fish, but rich fish you can drink Barolo too. I love.
What kind of fish you have in mind?
I love the come si dice in italiano is cacciucco alla livornese, you know.
I'm not prepared for this one. It's very
it's complicated to do. It's like is a fish with tomatoes cooked together. Is a sauce. Is fantastic because it's very rich food, you know, for the Barolo. But I love meat, of course. Meat. Our fassone. We have a beautiful stack of fassone. Piemonte's food is fantastic with Barolo. And seasoned cheeses as that we have in the Langhe. A lot of seasoned cheese, beautiful. Roccaverano is fantastic too.
Great. Well, Valter, this has been a very educational conversation, very interesting. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Thank you very much for your question, and I hope to be quite clear. It's not easy explain on the phone.
No, you were very clear.
Okay.
And, next time, when is a better day, we'll be able to also go to the vineyard, maybe, to see the vineyard itself.
Okay, and I cannot wait to meet you again in US too. So that means I can travel again a little bit. That and also for you, you can visit again here the winery.
Oh yeah, well, I'm even though I look forward to seeing you first year, I would rather come to see you in Langhe, so I can get out of this apartment in New York. So
we need to have again a lot of tourists here, you know, to help for our economy too. Okay.
Absolutely.
That is not easy at the moment in the Italy too, but we are positive. We are working with always passion and love for our work, and we continue to try to get better wines every year, and hope the situation will be better as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to be positive, and we're gonna get out of this. So you just have to be focused on keep making great wines as you always do. That's your main focus.
Thank you so much, my friends, and say ciao to everybody in Wilson Daniels too, and thank you for what you are doing, and continue to growing and help to our brand to become more important.
Well, no, thank you, Valter, for your time, and thank you to our followers for taking the time and listen to you today. If you wanna follow Valter at Elvio_Cogno, the Instagram account. Follow up with any questions as usual, and we'll see you later. And cheers with some Barolo, even though I don't have any glass.
Ciao.
Ciao, Valter. Talk to you later.
Ciao, grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao.